So class 1-3 is doing a musical, Shima got pressured into taking a role, and Asano is now my enemy. So there's that. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access in the channel memberships. But other than that, let us get started. That really differs from other people. Man's bullshitting. Been steaming for ages. Oh? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why she's the vice president, huh? I'll give you the gun and I'll rat you out. Wow. Oh. Ah. Tokyo is home. Oh, cause they're okay. Well, you wish your families came to visit? Doggo. It's a masterpiece. All these middle school friends, damn it. This guy's just trying to hit on her. Well, she thought he was here for her art. Oh, she's experiencing the hot girl problem. No, it's supposed to make them happy. I've already got the churros. They're kin. Mm-hmm. Oh, trying to... Because she's a hot girl, huh? Oh! Oh. So look, she does know this. And that's why she says it's a masterpiece. Kind of looks like a, why can't I remember the breed of it? I know what... A terrier. I knew the breed of terrier. I didn't know about the Yorkshire one. Damn, dude. She's like, I'm not giving these fucking churros for free. I bought it for y'all, but pay. Wow, can you believe it's been half a year? Anyways, back to work. Fanfic? What are you guys writing about? What is this fanfic about? Oh, feels like we've been friends for years, huh? Wow, everybody really had their separate ways. Oh, it's Ririka. Oh, going to the... Oh no, oh no! Oh no, Chris! Use! No, Chris! He's not a bro after all. I mean, he technically didn't tell her, but he just gave her a hint. She went the extra mile. The last name, I'm just like, what? Was that the mom? Was that Shima's mom? Oh, it is! Oh, sick. Shima's mom looked like, why can't I remember her mom from, A Silent Voice, but the deaf girl. Uh-oh. This man's dressed like the mafia out here. Ignored. What's your endgame? Oh, actually asking him. A bonus or a side note? Mm-hmm. I mean, the end game of that is to not die, so there's that. Oh, she brought her son. Damn, this boy's just running, dude. This is why you gotta keep your kid along with you at all times. I mean, not be behind you, but you know. Oh, shit! Oh, we get to see Kei's face. Ah, my favorite thing. Missing child. Wow, the fucking billboard people really came and blocked him. Uh-oh. Is Mitsumi gonna end up fighting him? Aw, excuse me. Oh, he's just going to class 1-3. Show me where class 1-3 is. Wow, what a fucking genius. My mom goes to class 1-3 as well, like she's a high schooler. And Shima's not here too, so. Wow, dude, what a fucking smart child. It's like, my mom's gonna be at 1-3 anyway, so I might as well get on over here. It's the penguin. Oh, she recognizes. Wow. I like that he gave it to his brother, and his brother just actually has it on a. Shima Katie. Your tree? you're 3. Yes! Look at him! Wow! Make an announcement. They're all panicking. You don't have to panic all that much. You guys literally found him, so like. What a smart child, but he did not panic at all. That's not me when I got lost once, as a kid. He's playing as a debt collector. You idiots. Your original stuff. Wow. Wow. Alright, dude. What a... What? Alright, what a fucking backhanded compliment that shit was. Oh no, poor Janet. Oh, Kanechika got ignored. Oh. The poor lad. The kid's a trooper. Timid, that chatterbox? Stepbrother. Dad would feel awkward? Well, if he wasn't, he wouldn't... Yeah, he's 3 too. Like, of course he looks up to his fucking brother, especially if you keep being aloof. She was ready to make the announcement. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Look, she ran all the way over here. Damn, the Yamada's out here just entertaining the fuck out of him. Oh, hold on. Whoa! Oh, because he's keeping up a tough face this whole time, that's why. You're always... They're too considerate for better or worse. Oh, dude. This kid is just using your pants as a napkin out here. Oh, there's Lidika. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I was thinking about what his mom would think about Lidika. I would assume it's not in anger, right? It's not in anger because it was Shima who brought Lidika to that party. Or that mixer party. Actually, it's not a mixer. A mixer is a dating thing, right? Anyways, that party that they went to. So I will assume she's not mad at Lidika. But whether Lidika feels the same way or not, you know? I would assume she feels a little bit more apologetic towards Lidika. Who knows? Who knows, right? If she knows the full story, then that's what she would be. So we got to see his brother, his little brother, Shima's little brother, Sousuke's little brother. It's, we got to, at least we know now that it is the stepdad. And Shima's over here being, as Yamada says, being considerate, right? For better or for worse. Alright, that's it. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so, as Yamada says, right, he's being considerate for better or for worse, and here he is in his way of being considerate is that he, spends less time with his family. And because he spends less time with his family, he probably starts to think that he's not... that his family doesn't like him because he doesn't fucking spend time with them. Which, you know, understandable. It kind of starts to make a little bit more sense. And you know what? This is such a great opportunity for me to talk about one of my favorite manga series. Hold on. I've talked about this series before. I don't specifically know which anime I was talking about it, but this is the NPCs in this village sim game must be real. That's the title. And I love the theme of the show, of this series. I love the message that comes from this story, and and with the way that they've started unraveling more of Shima's backstory, right? It made me realize how similar he is to our main character here, where in this series our main character is a would you consider he's a NEET, I think that you could say, or a hikimori, somewhere around there. He doesn't really leave the house, barely leaves his room either, and so because of that, and like he had some tragic accident that happened that causes him to stay in his room for a very long time, and because of that he spends less time with his family. Despite living in the same fucking house, he spends barely any time with his family, and because of that he thinks that he's worthless and that his family hates him and all that, and that's all because he never really got around to actually talking with his family. It's all just his self-worthlessness, his anxiety that's talking to him and making him feel like his family doesn't like him. And I feel like that's what Shima is going through, where, you know, he doesn't want to shower Kei in love because he doesn't want his stepdad to feel awkward. Which is just like, what? Anyways, but he goes and he goes to cram school in middle school in order to find an excuse to get out of the house, right? To spend as less time with his family as possible. And then when we got to the point where the aquarium, and he realized that his parents already took Kei to the aquarium, and he's just like, well, why the fuck do I want to buy this, right? Kei's already here. And it kind of gives that idea of, perhaps in his idea of just like, oh wow, I'm not a part of this family anymore, right? They went to this aquarium and I didn't even know about it. So yeah, it's that's what it gives me vibes of, right? Like, you spend time away from them, you purposely avoid them, and then in your mind, you're just kind of creating the story of like, oh, they don't care about me anymore, and that's why they're not, you know, that's why they're not around, even though you're the one who's putting up this wall in the first place. But anyways, yeah, I really enjoyed this series. It's not an isekai, but it kind of has elements of isekai. But again, I love the ending theme for the series. I love the way that it ended, albeit the last part of this series is kind of it's kind of it's just like, I don't know what's going on, but I love the way that I love the way that it ended. And again, I love the theme of it. Very good very good series. I love the light novel. Made me cry a few times just because of how wholesome it is and how uplifting this series is. So I was gonna say I appreciate the read, but it's not my series. But you know, I appreciate if you try and give this series a try anyways. So anyways, advertising period over. Anyways, if you do want to buy the I do have an Amazon shop down below, so it's in there somewhere. It's an affiliate link, by the way. Anyways, I'm gonna go write my notes and we will be right back to the center. Okay. So, I misread this whole thing, right? With the way that, because the way that I misread it was, this guy coming up to Kanechika, and also Kanechika just being nervous, like waiting for the reception, you know, waiting for the reviews to come, because this is his life work, so he's like afraid that he's gonna get some bad reviews or whatever. And so this guy says, honestly, your original stuff flies over my head, but this, and so just the way that it says that, right? But this, it just made me think, I'm just like, oh, see, is this not an original work, right? Is that why the motherfucker, is that why it sounds like such a backhanded compliment to me? But I think the guy is just saying that your original stuff usually flies over my head, but this one of yours, like this original, this is fucking amazing, right? It's crazy how you foreshadowed the entire second half. So, very nice. And so Kanechika it's over here. It's just like, whoa, you know, someone's giving me a fucking glowing review. This is great. So I get it now. I get it now. And that's kind of like making Shima, the way that Shima looks at Kanechika, right? I would assume he kind of sees himself in Kanechika. Like, if he hadn't stopped his career, his acting career, perhaps he could have ended up being like Kanechika in a way. Who knows, right? He's been seeing himself in Mitsumi in the last episode, in the way that she reminds him of how he was as a kid, and now here is Kanechika, who is continuing to live out his dream despite the hurt that he's going to get, right? He's just going to continue doing this because this is something that he loves. So, very nice, very nice. Alright, so that was episode 11 of Skip and Loafer. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a good episode. Let us get into the beginning of the episode. I feel like a lot of stuff happened, and I will just try to organize all the smaller pieces before we get into the main one, which is the fucking Shima family. Albeit I feel like I kind of already talked a little bit about the whole Shima family by comparing it to the other series that I enjoy, but here in the beginning, we got to see Kazakami yet again. We hate Kazakami in this house. I hate him, how dare you. But the way that I see Kazakami, right, is that he is, of course, he's the president, right? He's the disorganized president who doesn't really follow the rules as much, even though they're the president and they really should. But since he's the disorganized president, that's why we have the vice president, Takamine, and I can definitely understand the dynamic about that, right? It's something that we see often, that the person in charge is the one who feels like they shouldn't be in charge, and then the vice president or just, you know, the person second in command or something. They're the one who has to deal with all the fucking bullshit, you know, with all the paperworks and everything, while the president just kind of goes off and do whatever his own thing is. So that dynamic, understandable, I get it. The only issue with that sort of dynamic is that you can't, you have to introduce both of them at the same time to the audience. That's what I feel anyways, right? You have to introduce both of them to the audience, so then you'd be like, okay, that's how the dynamic goes, so we'll just go on with that. The issue is that we've learned about Takamine first, right? We learned about her issues, and then we learned about her goals. So we know a lot more about Takamine before we got to meet Kazakami. And so the idea of Takamine losing out to Kazakami because he's just the popular hot boy, it just feels a little infuriating, because again, we know more about Takamine than we do Kazakami. And so it's just kind of like, who gives a shit about this guy? I don't like him. How dare he fucking come in here and be the president when he doesn't even give a shit about it. He's only here because it gives him a good rep with the teacher. How dare he? Ooh. And he's not even that committed. How dare he? But yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say about this whole segment with Kazakami and Takamine. Other than in the next scene that we see them is that girl that he was talking to, and she was talking about how, like, oh, I feel very scared, but he was very patient and he talked to me about all this whole stuff, right? And I feel better now. Now I'm gonna fucking ace that exam by the time I get into high school, whatever, right? And Mitsumi is able to understand that, like, yeah, when you feel very overwhelmed, just having that tiny bit of kindness can go a long way, right? It can pick you up real quick. And that's just another lesson to Takamine, right? I mean, I feel like it's something that she should still continue to learn, because I feel like that's something that she's kind of been like, being nice to people, smiling at people, yeah, you're right. but she still kind of hasn't really fit that, you know, just she hasn't really done those lessons of just being a little bit nicer to people, I feel anyways, but especially towards Kazakami. But you know, her fucking anger flares at him, which is understandable. But in a way, right, even though I don't like Kazakami, he is teaching her some ways of the things that she should be doing, right? Because that's one of the reasons why she lost in the first place, is because she doesn't really have a good rep compared to him. People think that she's a little too scary and all that. So, you know, she's still got a lot to learn, and she's gonna learn a little bit about it from Kazakami, so that's good. But, you know, again, still don't like him. How dare you? I hate this boy. Anyways, in the next scene that I wanted to talk about is Mitsumi going on a break, and also I find it very fun that Mika's just over here like, so, isn't Naosan coming to the school festival? she's just over here friends with Nao and everything, got her on Pinstagram. I love it. I love Mika's relationship with Nao. But as they're having a conversation, Mika's friends came on over to chat with her, you know, and they're gonna start do a little hangout and everything. And as Mika is looking around, I don't know I assume this is what is his name? I can't remember his name, but one of their moms. The guy, I mean, the one with the similar hair color, right? But as Mitsumi looks around and realizes that everybody's home is here in Tokyo, but her home is not here in Tokyo, right? She's perhaps she feels just slightly a little homesick, just because, well, her friends and families, they're not here to visit her at the festival, and that's I would assume one of the things that is good at the festival or whatever, right? Your middle school friends coming over to hang out and such, you know, your family comes to see your hard work and all that, but her family isn't here, her friend isn't here, albeit it kind of makes me wonder if, like, did she tell her friends and family about it? You know, maybe she's also being considerate, right? She doesn't want her friends and family to take the time to travel all the way over here. But who knows, you know, hopefully we get to see her family come here, do a little visit, but it is the second and final day, so I don't know. It seems like we're about to veer on over and back to the fucking Shima show yet again. Literally, the Shima show. We've got 3 Shimas here. But we're not talking about that just yet. So, the scene right after this is her hanging out with Yuzuki and seeing the puppy art that Yuzuki has drawn, right? Her art, she calls Angel. It's her dog. So fucking great, dude. So fucking great. I didn't know that she was in art class, but here she is in art class. She got very excited about Mitsumi actually genuinely asking about, oh, what's this part, right? This part's puffing out, and got Yuzuki to talk about the type of art that she did in order to make her dog fucking perfect in this picture, right? Also, I love this picture of someone just drawing a chair. It's just a chair in a window. Now that's art right there. We're selling that for 500k. Hell yeah, dude. I also love this part of Yuzuki, I was gonna say rubbing against Mitsumi, but I mean, she is technically doing that. But she goes and she says, like, I'm glad that you're here and you're actually taking the time to look at the picture. When I asked Makoto about it, she just says it's a masterpiece and didn't say anything else. And I'm like, look, Makoto knows. She's just like, yeah, it's a fucking masterpiece. It's great. What else do I need to say about it? It's a masterpiece. But we get to see, wait, is that an anime girl? So, yo, somebody threw some anime girl and somebody threw a motorcycle over here. We've got like pen sketches too, even though it kind of looks like it's on a canvas. Canva. Anyways, we had this boy coming in to actually hit on Yuzuki, and Yuzuki is just over here like, I'm not having it. Fuck you, right? And Yuzuki's just over here explaining to Mitsumi about her hot people problem, right? and her saying like, hey, I just want somebody to look at my art and appreciate the art and not try to fucking hit on me. I'm just trying to get people to look at my art, okay? And Mitsumi finally comes to the understanding of like, wow, I've never been this popular before, so I just never understood this issue, but I didn't really think about it like that. Mitsumi's mind has now been opened to the hot people problem. After this, and the talk of churros, so of course, any food-related thing, Makoto's just gonna come right in, and we are introduced to her middle school friends who are exactly like her. And I like that they use this time as a way to showcase episode 3 again, and to see how, to see how Makoto was back in episode 3, right? Even Makoto remembers, oh yeah, this is how I was in middle school. Sorry, how I was when I first met her. And so I love that Makoto takes the time. Hold on. Here it is. Makoto takes the time to tell her friends that, hey, you should read the books I lend her and give me her thoughts about it right away. And then she takes her friends over to the art, right? She also talks about the dog, and then she's like, oh, you see the texture on his fur? She says it's to highlight his cuteness, right? That she's actually, Makoto's actually listening to Yuzuki. Yuri couple. Very fun, right? And here, where Yuzuki was thinking like, oh man, Makoto only said it was a masterpiece and that was it. And she comes to realize that, oh, Makoto has been listening to me this whole time, right? Makoto probably isn't gonna be out here and have to describe all of this to a degree, but here she is, right? Pushing herself out of that comfort zone and actually trying to tell her middle school friends about her current friend, who is a hot girl, and trying to tell them that, hey, look, even though she's a hot girl, she's still just like us. She's human. I was gonna say she puts on her pants one leg at a time, but she wears, I don't know, well, she does wear pants, so yeah, she's just like us. She puts her pants one leg at a time. Afterwards, we have the girl gang talking about how, like, wow, it's been 6 months since we met each other, huh? we've been really good friends. Or, you know, as Mika said before, did you expect us to be in this fucking group of friends when you first came into high school? Me neither. And I love that where they're just like, yeah, it's 6 months. Anyways, I had my churros, so it's time to go. I have committee work. I've got this fan fiction and all that, right? Everybody's leaving. And before they all split apart, we've got Yuzuki who says, we don't feel like it's only been 6 months, do we? And it kind of goes back to how much Yuzuki appreciate her friendship with this group because, well, they showed us a flashback in this episode as well, where she said that her middle school friends often got her into a lot of drama and all that. So here she is with a group of friends who are all relatively positive with each other for the most part. You know, there's Mika, but at least Mika kind of tells you what it is. And so, yeah, it's just very nice, again, just to know that Yuzuki, again, really appreciate her friendship. And then we get to see as she runs off, right? As she runs off, it's a fucking bright light and just flowers and everything. She's having the greatest time in her life right now. But heading into the second half, we get to see Sousuke's mom. This is where I can't not call him Shima right now, because there's literally 3 Shima, so I have to call him Sousuke, unfortunately. But here we are with Sousuke's mom, and we also saw Kei at some point as well, and with Sousuke, he ended up getting dragged on over by Kanechika. And I might as well talk about Kanechika too. Actually, I feel like I kind of already talked a little bit about it because I felt like I was misunderstanding what Kanechika was saying in the beginning. But, okay, actually, here we are in this part. The subtitle's not popping up, and I'm also not hearing anything, so I don't know what's going on in each scenes right now. But here in this part, Sousuke goes out and he asks him, what is your end game, right? What is your end game in all of this? Whether that's like, what's your end game in continuously asking me to come see your drama? What is your end game in the whole drama stuff and the whole script writing stuff, right? He mentions it before. Well, you said that you wanted to get famous, didn't you? That's what you said your dream was. And Kanechika, it kind of just says it in a way where he's like, do I really need to have an end game? Eating and drinking, right, and sleeping and all that, we do that daily, but is there an end game to that? So he's just saying that, like, I breathe script writing, like, script writing, acting, and all that, that's the same thing as breathing for me, right? It is my life. It is the thing that is keeping me alive. Do I really need an end game for it? And I really like that he ends up talking about how, like, oh, you know, I do want to get famous and all that, so, but that's more like a bonus or a side note. It's not the end game, but, you know, it would be nice if he could make a living out of it, to which, you know, as a scriptwriter, as a theater, that's gotta be really hard on that part. You're being a theater kid and all that, yeah, that's good luck, but... But hey, you know, this is his project, this is his passion, and he also wants to make movies and such too, right? He script writes. So, I do enjoy seeing the way that Kanechika is, the way that he explains it to Sousuke. We get to see a rather nervous Kanechika as he is sweating beads over here, beads of sweat, and he's just waiting for people to come and give him either some critique or some praise, but I would assume he's very nervous, so he's just expecting someone to be like, man, your fucking shit sucks. To which, now that I think about it, this guy who came up to him and saying, oh man, your original stuff usually flies over my head, so I would assume that's usually the sort of reputation or reception that he gets for his plays. When he writes his own plays like that, you're like, oh, this play that you write, it just went over my head, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And so I assume that's what he kind of expects, because like, oh, people don't understand my stuff and whatever, but here he is, finally writing something that just hits it for this person, right? This person who seems like he's just been coming, because he just says your original script usually flies over my head, so like he has been coming and watching this guy But like now, this guy who's been coming and watching him, even though he doesn't really enjoy his original script as much, right? This guy coming up to him and this play just clicks for him, and like I can see like Kanechika is like very excited. You see the blush in him as he's just like, whoa, right? This guy, my play finally did it for this guy, right? This is fucking amazing. I'm finally, perhaps, you know, maybe in the end, right? His end game is to make people happy, or to make people come out with, you know, a whole whatever feeling that he wants these people to feel, and just to get people to, you know, give him a little bit praise. Who knows? It could be his end game in the end that he doesn't know. Who knows? But as Kanechika says, right, his whole thing, it's the same thing as eating and breathing and all that. It is part of his life. So yeah, as all that's happening, we get to see a half a face of Shima, of Sousuke, and we don't get to see his expression, and it makes me wonder if he's thinking, you know, the way that it's like there's that effect of like that whiteness effect, that whiteout effect, as it's like trying to showcase like Shima looking at Kanechika. And again, it just kind of makes me wonder if, like, does he see himself in Kanechika? Like, if this is what he could have been if he didn't, you know, quit acting and all that. I don't know. But we're gonna head on over to Sousuke's mom, Mrs. Shima. Maybe I should just call her like that. She is married, you know. But we got to see Kei, which is very, very fun, very cute. This boy is a fucking trooper. Truly is a fucking trooper. He's 3 years old, and he's like, oh shit, I'm lost. Well, you know, my mom said that she was gonna be a class 1-3, so I might as well get myself over to her. And it's just like, wow, dude, this kid, he is responsible AF. He is extremely responsible. It's just like, Jesus, what are the Japanese teaching their kids over here? My goodness, dude. My goodness. So, Mukai was talking about the kid, right? He's a trooper. He hasn't cried once. And Shima's like, that's weird. He's usually so timid. And Mukai's like, timid? That chatterbox? Wait, I get it. Kids can tell when you don't want them around. Oh, okay. I didn't really understand what this line meant in the beginning, but I get it now in what Shima showcases later on. And so Shima's just over here like, look, I just don't know how to deal with little kids. I'm not a kid person, you know? And I'm his stepbrother. If I showered him in with affection, Dad would feel awkward. And I'm like, why would your dad feel awkward? This guy obviously is not a family man. Shima, I mean. Wait, that would be the entire Shima family. Sousuke! God damn it! But yeah, it's just like, what is his reasoning? What? And it showcases us this picture of, like, the family shoes, and his shoes not in there, because he doesn't think of himself as part of his family, which is also why he ends up leaving often, so that's why you don't see his shoes there. And so, yeah, he says, I use cram school as an excuse to get away from home. He kind of was doing that, too, during the summer. He says, I don't think Katie's all that interested in me either. And I love Mukai here. He says, I'm not an expert on your family or anything, but you seriously think a 3-year-old kid wouldn't care about his big bro? And it's like, yeah, he's your brother, right? He's 3 years old. If he sees you, he's gonna be like, whoa, that's my big brother. And I'm a little curious about him. It kind of makes me think about that fucking thing I was talking about, how, like, what if his mom's been talking shit about Shima? See, that's the only way. That would have been the only way to get Kei to not care about you. If your mom or your parent or your dad, or your stepdad technically, kept telling to Kei about how bad you are as a brother, then, like, yeah, maybe Kei would be like, wow, this is a bad brother. I don't want to associate with him because my parents don't want to associate with him. But it seems like they haven't said that, right? They kind of just left him to have his own space because they're just like, oh, he's just a boy trying to be independent. I don't know. yeah, so like even when you're 3 and you know that this is your brother and all that, of course you would just kind of end up looking up to them, and especially if they play a little mysterious and they don't want to see you and all that, right? That makes the curiosity within the kids all the more crazy, all the more intense, because they want to know everything about you, especially when you are closing yourself off to them. Even though Kei kind of knows that you don't want him around, but he's still, staring at him from far away, as what Shima recognizes. Anyways, Sousuke returns. Kei sees his brother and immediately starts crying. Like, breaks down the barrier. He's been the trooper for so fucking long, but now he sees family, so he's gonna just runs up to his brother and he just ends up crying, and Shima is just over here uncomfortable AF. What am I doing? But it makes him come to realize that, well, his brother does care about him, right? Does look up to, well, I don't know about the looking, well, okay. He's 3 years old, so he's probably going to look up to his brother. And I love Yamada's over here is like, man, you two are both too considerate. And just breaks Shima's mind, Sousuke's mind. He's just like, what? What do you mean? This boy is being considerate of me this whole time? And he starts to realize that, oh, so he is being considerate, because with what Mukai says, like, oh, maybe kids sometimes know that you don't want them to be around. So here's an example of like how Kei just like runs away from him, right? Try to not get as close to him as possible, but he stares at him from afar, right? He's watching him, studying him, the curiosity in a kid, and it makes Sousuke realize, wow, that was me, right? I was like that growing up too. With his mom, but now it's Kei and his brother instead. God, this whole school festival is really just Sousuke remembering his childhood self, and also remembering the idea that, oh my god, hold on. So I was talking about this, right? I was talking about this whole series. Again, you should fucking read it. It's great. Alright, the manga or the light novel, whichever one. It's great, albeit I would recommend you the light novel instead, just because it's completed. It's only like three volumes. Anyways, yeah, this it feels like he's unraveling himself in the fact that in the whole thing is that his childhood, he's got this big trauma in his childhood, and that's affecting the way that he thinks about his childhood. And so with what he told to Mitsumi, that he didn't really had fun in acting, he only did it to make his mother happy, but then we get something that contradicts what he says from Chris, who says, hey dude, you're the one who had the most fun out of everyone, and it seems like it's starting to make Sousuke unravel this childhood trauma and like how it affects the way that he thinks about everything. And it's so similar to our main character's journey in this series, where he goes through a trauma, and because of that, it affects the way that he goes through, like, he goes through a trauma, and it affects the way that he thinks, and it affects the way that he thinks about his family, about his friends, about his sister, and his sister is his family. Anyways, yeah, it just affects the way that he sees outside the world. But as Shima starts to come to, I don't know whether it's come to realization, but he's slowly unraveling it, where he starts to remember the way that Mitsumi is, right? He starts to remember, the way that Mitsumi is reminds him of the way that he was as a kid, and how much he had fun when he was, when he was playing, when he was acting with his, I don't know, I'm trying to say something, and like, my brain is just closing it off for me. It's just like, no, stop, don't say it any further. But yeah, I would assume that that's how he is currently feeling right now, that like all this feeling that he has, that's all muddled up by his trauma, right, slowly starts to unravel itself, and maybe he will come to realize that, you know, he really did like acting in the end, because I'll be honest, being good at something, being that good at something, especially when you're a kid, being that good at something, you have to have some type of love, some type of fun in order to continue doing what you're doing. But anyways, I'm gonna put this back now, but again, you should read this. It's great, I enjoy it. Anyways, I'll just leave this here, actually. Okay. Also, Sousuke is over here like, my little brother doesn't care about me or doesn't have an interest in me. And like, this boy's got your fucking keychain from the aquarium. He puts it on his backpack. Like, that's fucking cute. What do you mean he doesn't care about you, right? And you can't make any excuse of, oh, what if your mom put it on there for him or whatever, right? He's a fucking kid. If he doesn't like it, he'll just fucking snap it off. So which also, by the way, like, that's probably like the first gift that Kei has ever gotten from his brother, and that's all because of Mitsumi. And it's just very nice, right? He wasn't even planning on giving the gift, because he's just like, oh, Kei's been here already. Why the fuck would he care? And so it's just nice that this was like his first gift to his brother. Or first gift in a while. I don't know if he's given his brother's gift before, but his first gift in the anime. But towards the end, as Mitsumi came to lead Mrs. Shima, Sousuke's mom, we get a chance encounter with Ririka. Oh my god, look at her. She's really out here thinking that putting a fucking hat on will get people to, like, not think that she's the whatever fucking model, whoever's read the magazine anyways. Right? Like, your hair is so distinct. You think just putting a fucking hat on? Like, you should at the very least. You got very thick hairs, Ririka, but I know some women with really thick hair who's still able to just somehow put all their hair bundle up into a fucking cap. I don't understand how they do that, but they can, and I think that's why you should do it, Ririka. Just a little advice. But yeah, we get a chance encounter. Shows Sousuke's mom sees Ririka. Ririka's not even wearing any glasses or anything. She's not even in that big of a disguise. But yeah, we get this chance encounter. We'll just have to see how Sousuke's mom and Ririka react to one another. Again, as I was saying, perhaps Sousuke's mom feels a little bad for Ririka because of what Sousuke did that ruined her reputation. Or she could take it more of the angry way of like, hey, I know that my son screwed up and all that, but like, actually, I don't know if she knows of what Ririka's been doing to Sousuke. I know my son's been having a sad boy summer, and it's you, isn't it? My boy had a sad boy summer. I can't believe it. I don't know if his mom knows that either, but, you know, he spent the summer at cram school, so he was getting away from his family still, so. So yeah, it's nice to see that, it's nice to see that, this whole, I was so fucking reveling in, like, the idea of, like, oh yeah, his family must be really bad, isn't it? And I just really enjoyed theorizing about that. But now that we are here on this certain path, again, this certain path that reminds me of this certain series, it just makes me all the more gleeful to see how this ends and to see how Sousuke, I don't know, come to the realization that maybe he does like acting in the end. I don't know. And maybe Ririka will see this and back the fuck away from him. Who knows? Yeah. Okay, you know how I mentioned that Sousuke's mom kind of reminds me just a tiny bit of that one girl from, hold on, let me just grab the other volume, the other manga that I'm thinking about. This one right here. I'm talking about Shoko's mom. That's who I'm thinking about from A Silent Voice. And I don't know why I was thinking about that. And then I was thinking about
God, remember that one time when Shoko's mom just had a slap fight with Ueno? That's what I want right there. Except with Sousuke's mom and Ririka. I just want a slap fight going on. But let's not. We're having a great festival right now, so let's not do that. Even though I do want it. But yeah, good episode. I enjoyed it. I really like more of the whole Shima family stuff, and yeah, enjoyable. But if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.